Debates! Here we let two huge movie fans battle out for bragging rights supremacy. I am your host, Walter Benaziak. As you can already see, we are doing something special today, folks. It's Real Debates Team Battle. That's right, 2-on-2 Real Debates action that you cannot get anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and introduce our debating teams for today's show. First, sitting to my left. They're both very good friends to our show, both big comic book fans and movie aficionados. This is their fifth and second appearances on Real Debates, respectively. You can catch both of them in the upcoming web series, The Infinity Trinity. Ladies and gentlemen, imp it ain't easy for the brother I never had. It's Mr. Bryan Porter and Mr. Paul Wartak.
Hello.
Together, they are Team McWinners.
That's
Is
right.
Team
that more and more.
McWinners
I'm regretting that more and more.
ready to McWin these debates?
Sure. Absolutely.
You guys
Oh, yeah.
have some
Sure, we
McDonald's?
already won. They're
No.
just here for show.
No McDonald's,
No McDonald's.
ironically.
All right, fine. And sitting to my right, this is their second and first appearances on Real Debates, respectively. One likes chicken balls in his soup. The other is a former loyal subject of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Gentlemen and ladies, this team may be the downfall of us all. It's Frederick, Brazzale, and Quinn Cloghessy. With their powers combined, they are the German Techno Vikings. Wow.
Drew you a nice picture, Walter.
Oh, can we see the picture? I don't know if you can see it from there. If not, I'll
That's-
take a picture of them close up.
That's us, and we're pooping on the McWinners. We're defecating, and then we're flipping the bird, too. Like that's
I see the
to all
bird.
of our haters.
Way to
out
keep
there.
it classy.
My
My
Frederick.
haters
I
are
like
my
it.
motivators.
Oh, geez.
I believe it was Gandhi that said that once.
I thought so.
He did. Well, look how he ended up.
It's almost time
In a
to
diaper.
get down to the debating, but first, gentlemen, let's go over the rules. We have 4 topic discussion rounds that these 4 have prepared for. For every round, we will hear a 1-minute opening argument from each debating team. After both teams have presented their arguments, they will go back and forth on why their point of view is better on the subject. At the end of every round, I will award 3 points to the team who I believe presented the best argument. After those 4 rounds are complete, we will move on to the lightning round, where the debaters will be asked a series of movie trivia questions, and because this is a special episode, we'll have a couple surprises in store for you guys. In any case, the lightning round questions will be worth 1 point each. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. Is everybody clear on the rules?
Wait, what were they?
Let's cut here and move back. Okay. All right then. And scene, we're ready. I'd like to remind everyone that today's episode of Real Debates is brought to you by Pepsi Perfect. The future is now. All right, let's debate for real. Okay, guys.
That was an expensive throw.
Here we go with our In the News round. This is round number 1. This round features current film-related news topics. Welcome to the future, folks! That's right. Very recently, the world celebrated Back to the Future Day in honor of the great milestone in film history. I wanted to throw a little curveball at you guys right out of the gate. We are going to recast the famous time-traveling Dr. Emmett L. Brown with any actor from any era. Let's start with you boys first, Team McWinners.
Age
Go.
before beauty.
Age before beauty, and let me get my timer out for you guys here. You'll have 1 minute for your opening
That's
arguments.
a phone.
This is a phone and also a stopwatch. It's amazing, isn't it?
This is an ashtray.
Go ahead.
First off, I want to say Recasting Doc Brown is a travesty. If you think about with that past, we are going to say Gene Wilder.
Okay. Gene
Yes,
Wilder.
Gene Wilder. It came down because it was a lot of people we went back and forth on. Some people we didn't agree with. Some people we really agreed with. He was the only one from that era. Has a similar look. Has the energy that Christopher Lloyd has. Whereas like a lot of other people like that could have been casted, just they would have been boring. Whereas Christopher Lloyd brought life to that character. He really made it his own.
Okay.
And not necessarily, just not only because he's from that time, that era or whatever, but the fact that you look at his films and you look at Blazing Saddles and some of the other ones, he has that that type of whimsy that Doc Brown has to have,
Okay.
and I think that he would convey that on screen really well.
Got it. Okay, that's 1 minute. And are you guys ready? Go ahead.
Yeah. Why don't you start us off?
So I think the one thing that we can agree on today is that recasting Doc Brown is probably the hardest thing to do. That is Christopher
Besides
Lloyd.
names.
child, he created that. But if we had to, I think a adequate replacement would be Bill Murray.
Bill Murray as Doc
We
Brown.
discussed that.
Yeah.
I think.
Why?
I think you needed Bill Murray's energy and his whimsical behavior, his wittiness that's needed, but you also needed the warmness because at the end of the day, I'm sure everyone cried when Doc Brown got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I cried when Bill Murray got shot in Zombieland. You know, everyone did. But I think the most overlooked trait that Doc Brown has is that warmness and that father-ish figure that he had over Marty McFly. And I think Bill Murray could really bring that.
All right, that's 1 minute. All right, it's time for the counter debate. So why is your guys' choice better than Bill Murray?
You mind if I start off?
Go ahead.
Okay, we actually thought of Bill Murray. The biggest problem with Bill Murray is he's too cynical. He's got a lot of energy, but it's more negative energy versus Christopher Lloyd, which is positive energy, constantly. Everything can be done, everything can happen. Bill Murray's like, you guys suck and I'm better and here's why. Pretty much in most, well, Ghostbusters, Groundhog's Day, but more or less, he's got a completely different, yes, especially Scrooge, he's got a completely different energy than what they're going for with Doc Brown.
Also, I would have to say that, you know, that warmness that Christopher Lloyd brought, that is totally seen in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder and Charlie. I mean, you just see him at the end, how he's beaming that Charlie figured it out, and he's got almost a love for him, just the fact that he finally found a kid worthy of accepting the responsibility of the Chocolate Factory. I totally think that would translate incredibly well in Back to the Future.
Well, let me start by saying we're not racist or sexist or anything like that. Like you guys, freaking typecasting Christopher Lloyd. You're typecasting, who did they pick
Gene
again?
Wilder.
Gene Wilder, crazy
Willy Wonka.
scientist. What do you want him to play crazy scientist in every movie now? He was crazy scientist in Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory and Young Frankenstein. You stop putting him in the same roles.
2 movies.
How many more movies is he famous for?
See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I think he was he in Throw Mama from the Train?
I don't know.
We don't. You don't
Blazing-
even know.
I can't even
know.
remember.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
I mean, so
Pretty much
funny,
anything
just-
Mel Brooks
just,
did.
You know, it's,
I do have
it
a
was
question
perfect.
for you guys age-wise. Doc was a little bit older, so Bill Murray, are you talking about like current Bill Murray? Bill Murray's in his 60s, I believe. Now, are you talking about younger Bill Murray and sort of changing up the character a little bit?
I think we're talking about now Bill Murray,
Now Bill Murray.
especially with the father figure. We just came out with that. What was the new movie he came out with? Where he was in the backyard with his kid.
St. Vincent.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, St. Vincent.
Up in the
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, I mean, typecasting people, that's not cool, man. I'm a little offended. And I got to say
for you. I
that
don't
we
care.
should probably make a law outruling that because I'm just terribly offended.
Well,
That
we're the-
diversion,
we're-
that diversion was fantastic because it had nothing to do with the question.
That's good. But
You
you
guys
know,
got any final points there?
I'm just saying, like,
we're running
the fact
pretty thin.
that Gene Wilder, he just has the eccentricities that you would need to play
brought their
Doc
They
Brown.
did.
They brought their dictionaries.
I did. It's right here, pocket dictionary, sucker. And then,
Sucker.
so I think that, you know, he could do that character really well and bring a little bit of a difference to it, like other than like Doc Brown or Christopher Lloyd. But I think that he would translate on screen well with the eccentricities and the warmness, and then just the general wonderment of time traveling. I think he would get that really, really well.
Paul, any last thoughts?
He pretty much said everything I was thinking about. I mean, Gene Wilder, most of his parts he really dove into his character,
Sure.
which is the same type of actor Christopher Lloyd was. He could play almost anything, and they have a certain level of
Quiet over there, will ya?
speaking and enunciation that most actors stumble over the words and they just talk really fast and
Sure.
this is their idea of crazy. Versus them, they showed it with their body, with the way they moved, the way they spoke.
All
It was
right.
everything all in one. They created a character, and they
Okay.
can both do that.
Gotcha. All right, any last thoughts on Bill Murray?
I think Bill Murray shows a wider, where you guys say Gene Wilder he's proven that he's played this character before and he has everything that brings to the table. I think Bill Murray can bring a wider spectrum, and I'm sure if you would ask him to play this warm character, not this cynic, I think Bill Murray would have done that. He played as much cynical, but he played the hero in Space Jam.
Yep.
Wow.
There's nothing cynical
went
about
there.
that.
You
He
went
came
there.
in and he
Save the world.
saved
That's more of a
the
stretch than
world.
Michael Jordan at the end. I'm just saying.
So,
Da, 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 da. You guys get the point. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, I'm going to make a call here, guys. Good debates there. I really liked Gene Wilder versus Bill Murray. I could see both of them in that kind of role.
I feel like if it got into a fist fight, Bill Murray would probably win.
Well, Gene Wilder's like 90 now.
He's also
so
crazy, so I mean, he's gonna pull out a switchblade and just end it right
something
there.
like that, right?
So
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Gene Wilder, guys. I think you guys present a little bit better argument. I think that he could have, because he was in that era, you could kind of see him in Doc's role a little bit more. And because of the typecasting, I mean, it really was only 2 roles. He was cast as like the really eccentric out there guy.
It really is only
everything
big
else.
roles. Bill Murray's a
Bill Murray
wide range of
maybe
things.
could be more
Not that wide range.
wide-ranging in terms of his acting ability, but I can't see him as much as I can Gene Wilder. And the arguments you guys presented, I think, was a little bit stronger. So they'll get the 3 points to McWinners, but fear not, because that's only round 1, folks.
Yeah.
All right, here we go with our second round. And this is time for our best/worst of round. I pick an actor or director, and you debaters pick and defend what their best or worst film is. Today, we are asking, what is the best movie directed by Christopher Nolan? And we're going to go with the team Techno Vikings first. Go ahead.
well, a lot of debate over this one. This one is a personal favorite of mine, but I think Christopher Nolan's best film, is Interstellar. I think Interstellar, I mean, from a financial point of view, it made close to 50 million opening sales, which isn't a bad thing. But I think it showed that Christopher Nolan is still not afraid to take risks. Every movie he's made has been taking a risk. I mean, his biggest movie that shot him out, Memento, huge risk, and look how well that did. And even if this is 9th movie that he's made, he still shows that he's willing to go out there and test the limits of our imagination.
Plus Matthew McConaughey. He's driving his Lincoln out into space.
Take the long way around.
No,
All right.
but
Not bad,
I
tree
think
hugger.
That's about a minute, so we're gonna
Yeah.
you can finish
Yeah.
that thought when we come back to you.
You can
Go
finish
ahead, McWinners.
We chose Inception.
Ooh, 2 INs.
Quinception.
Quinception. So you're gonna go home. You're gonna go home.
Go
right?
ahead, go
We
ahead.
chose Inception because I don't think it was just the cinematic view of the movie. It was just everything. The story was amazing. Like, it was something I personally have never seen in another movie. Something that detailed, and he really. When you're thinking about a movie 5 years later and still wondering, like, you still have an open end where you can say, did it happen? Didn't it happen? And it's still debated. That is a strong story. It's a very. I don't know how to describe it.
It's still talked about the ending.
Absolutely, it's completely talked about. It's I'd say it's probably his most debated film and one of the best debated films in recent years, at least in the last 5 years. And I think that the movie was it showed how good he was. I mean, yes, you had Memento and like Dark Knight and this and that, but this movie showed how much of a genius he was.
All right, we'll come back to you. That's 1 minute. Counter arguments begin. Why is Interstellar the best Christopher Nolan movie over Inception?
It is. You're right.
You guys win
No,
again.
I think
It's so simple.
I think Interstellar, it kept people guessing up until they actually saw it. It wasn't, at least in my opinion, it was not really, televised. There wasn't a lot of hype built around it until it came close to being premiered. And still people were kind of just had the impression of, oh, this is just a space movie. But it really wasn't a space movie. I think it was just set in space, but it had more complex subjects that Christopher Nolan delved into, and he still did a good job at portraying. The first being quantum physics, and I think he's the first director that can make quantum physics as interesting as he did. And the second
Right.
one is something that he kind of steers away from, and that's love. I think he really
That's
tackles
true.
the aspect of love, and it's not between McConaughey and his wife. It's not between McConaughey
His
and
Lincoln.
Gardner. It's not between McConaughey and his it's between McConaughey and his daughter.
Right.
And how throughout this whole spiel of time, the love was still there, and it was even the cozy ending.
Plus, if Inception was so good, why didn't Leo win an Oscar?
First off,
Response?
Leo is cursed, so we're gonna stop off right there. Secondly,
The grizzly bear is gonna maul him, and he's gonna win an Oscar for it.
you're talking about love and time. The whole aspect, or one of the biggest aspects of the movie, and one of the biggest problems that the main character Leo faced was the fact that his dead wife, who was still haunting him, was screwing him over in the dream throughout the entirety of the movie. It wasn't until the end of the movie that we saw the culmination of his love with her, and actually finally letting go of his past and of his mistake and eventual complicity in his death, in her death. And yeah, I'm throwing these out there for you, babe. And so I just think that he totally tackles love, and he showed the depth of human emotion and how far you can go, especially even when someone's gone, how much you can still love them and still hold on to them to the point where it's actually hurting you. So
Okay,
I
response,
think that is
guys?
a great point for him.
I mean,
It touched me.
Who touched you?
it's hard to debate against Inception because I enjoyed that film a lot. But when Interstellar's getting compared to Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was one of the better films to be made, I think that's a good comparison to be made too.
Right, sure. People were definitely doing that.
And I think that shows just how revolutionary the movie that 2001 was when it came out, how just as revolutionary Interstellar was when it came out.
Okay, we're going to our last thoughts.
Okay.
Winners?
But that's the thing, is that it had precedence, whereas Inception did not. Inception was a completely original idea. It was, and again, it was so well developed that even though you should have been used to the idea, by the end of the movie, it got more and more interesting. They found ways to feed off of that concept throughout the entire movie, whereas Interstellar had dead spots, it had things you saw coming a mile away, and it was a good movie. I really liked Interstellar. I just didn't have the same draw to it, and I thought I would. Like, I thought going in, it was going to blow my mind, and I kind of left just like, it was good, but it wasn't what I'm used to from Nolan.
One thing that I have left to say about it, Interstellar was a good movie, but a lot of it was, it had to be special effects. But with Inception, there's this one scene where they're in the hallway and they're floating. But the way that they made that scene, they made a hallway and they put it on these rings, and the hallway actually rotated. They had a camera anchored to one of the floorboards, so you go with them, and they had a camera in on a crane or whatever you would say. And so that was real. When they were tumbling around that hallway, it was completely real. It wasn't special effects. They did that.
Okay, last thoughts from you guys.
I would also just like to say that I really thought that they were going to do Dark Knight, so we didn't do the Dark Knight. We dropped the ball on this one, I got to say, because I think we all think Dark Knight is Christopher Nolan. I think they were going to do Dark Knight, and they were worried that we were going to do Dark Knight, so no one did Dark Knight because they're like, damn, I think they're going to do it, and I don't want to agree with them.
Well, any thoughts on Interstellar, though? Any other thoughts?
I mean, there's so much you can do in regards to, you have to do special effects in a space movie. If Nolan shot that movie in space and filmed in space, he goes down as the greatest director of all time. But
He's getting there.
Yeah. So, but to make it as believable as he did in a space movie, I think just screams how talented and ingenious of a director that he is.
Okay. All right, we're going to wrap that one up, guys. Really strong arguments from both sides. Quinn, great job. Frederick and Porter and Paul, fantastic. I think the thing that brought it home for me, I could feel the passion on both sides of this argument, and both of those movies were revolutionary, let's face it. Inception, that idea wasn't really done mainstream before. I think there's been little things here and there that have sort of similar, but for the most part, Inception is a really original idea, and it constituted repeat viewings, which you guys didn't talk about, so I can't count that in the argument here, but that was a huge thing when it came out in 2010, I believe, and how people kept seeing it. Interstellar was talked about not only because it had Matthew McConaughey was a huge star, like that was his year, 2014.
Yeah, True Detective, Interstellar. That was
Exactly.
Lincoln commercials.
Lincoln commercials, all that. The booger thing. That was fantastic. But you know what? I'm going to have to give it to Interstellar because Quinn, you brought it home. You guys, great argument. But Quinn, you brought it home when you're talking about comparing it to 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Stanley Kubrick movie. No one has come close to touching that, and that the fact that people were comparing it to that, and how the physics and everything in it wasn't, it's as close as you can get, while you have to make a movie, so you have to make some compromises. But Quinn, I think you brought it home with making quantum physics interesting, complex subjects. The daughter-father love was a big main part of that, where I think in Inception, that was sort of a detriment to his character. Having to let go at the end was the payoff, but this was like, real love was the center of the story, where that, I think the concept was more the center. And I'm going to give this one to Interstellar. Great job, Quinn. Great job, Team McWinners. But I think Interstellar, personally, I like Inception better.
That was
I'll say
hard
that.
because I've
Great
loved
job.
I've loved every movie that
There were
Nolan's
tons
made.
of points that I could have made for Interstellar
I was
throughout the
one-
entire
that's-
time. I wanted to
yeah.
be like, you guys forgot about the
Yeah, right.
soundtrack. You forgot about this.
Right.
I
Like,
mean, Hans Zimmer is his own person.
Exactly,
I
I
mean,
agree with you. All right, we're going on to round 3. We're tied up at 3 to 3, guys.
I'm not
This is
saying-
our TV round. That stands for television. Topics here related to television shows.
He's not wrong.
Today we are
TV does
asking,
stand for television.
guys, what is the greatest live-action TV show based on a comic book? And the people that we're going to go with first are the McWinners, correct? McWinners?
Winners. It's
McWinners.
winners.
Go ahead.
Definitely winners.
ahead.
We're going to go ahead and say The Flash. Obviously,
Flash.
it is just starting its sophomore season. And that TV show, aside from being one of the best comic book TV show ever, that freshman season, that first season was the best season of television I've ever seen in my entire life. From the mid-season finale on, every single episode felt like a mid-season finale. Cliffhangers galore. It was amazing. Anything?
Okay. By far, it was superior to anything. Smallville, Arrow, even Arrow. Arrow was great when it came out, but every single episode, they bring in characters that you wouldn't expect them to.
Save it for
Like all these other ones, they're always bringing in these, making up characters. They're bringing in big characters, Grodd, Reverse Flash, Zoom. They're bringing in monstrous characters that would be normally like carried throughout the entire season. They're episode villains. That's what they are. It's amazing. They have the guts to just really go after each story.
That's 1 minute. We're going to go over to German Techno Vikings.
There you go.
Go
Very
ahead.
good.
I'm upset that you guys are ready to call Flash the greatest after one season. It's obviously The Walking Dead. How is it not The Walking Dead as the greatest comic book show? It's how many comic book shows have their own talk show after it? There is an hour dedicated after the show just to talk about the show because people's minds are always so blown after every episode. You want to talk about cliffhangers? You want to talk about all the drama, all the killings, everything.
Character development.
Character development on character development because it's not just about good and bad. It's not about bad guys, good guys, and villains. The lines are muddied because you have, like in the second season when he had to kill Shane because he was becoming a bad guy. If you haven't seen the second season of Walking Dead, I don't even know what to do with
No,
it.
it's fine.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it.
Porter said skip it.
But I mean,
I'm getting there.
it's the biggest thing. It's
5
got
seconds.
Crazy viewership. It's a ratings juggernaut.
Okay.
It
All
might
right, go
be
ahead.
a ratings juggernaut, but there are very significant amounts of time where it is boring.
Have you seen this season?
Boring. I've watched the season, but season 2 I actually stopped watching because it was boring. I could not get into it. A couple episodes in, I'm like, hey, can I see a zombie? It's called The Walking Dead. Let's see a zombie. All right? I stopped watching it and picked up on the last 2 episodes just to catch up for the season. I didn't miss anything.
You're talking about how popular it is, everything. It's pop culture. That's all it is, because this show almost has nothing to do with, except for a couple places, a couple characters with the comics. There's so much that's changed. This is barely an adaptation because there are people still in the show that die in the first couple issues. Like the entire show has been changed around. There are characters that never existed that are some of the biggest characters.
Daryl is
Yeah.
a character that is not in the comics, yet he is a mainstay for the series.
Okay. Were we talking about accuracy? No. You're ready to crown the Flash. After one season, we saw it could take a nosedive this season, and we won't hear anything about it ever again. No one ever knows. This thing's been going strong for 6 seasons. It's been one of the most popular TV shows ever. It's like huge. Every season premiere, every season finale, it's breaking records for viewership. It's making all kinds of money. It's just one season. I love Flash, don't get me wrong, and it's great, and it's a very accurate adaptation to the comic book, to the show. But we're talking about like the most popular thing to come around in the last 10 years on TV.
Okay, but
it's
you're
massive.
talking about, it's very accurate. It is very accurate. And that is hard for movies to do for comic book adaptations. That's hard for even TV shows to do for comic book adaptations. But this show is so accurate and so faithful to the comics that they're actually doing it right. They're taking into consideration what the actual fans. They're not pandering to the masses like, oh, we got the fans over here, we got everybody else. We are catering to the fans. And because they're catering to the fans, the regular people are going to love it too, just because it's that much better, like the comics.
But if it is, why doesn't it have the ratings like The Walking Dead does?
Because
it's beginning of the second season. It's on the CW, which is never going to get the ratings that AMC gets.
Absolutely.
One. And two, you're talking about
popularity.
You're talking about popularity, not quality. Because there's so much in The Walking Dead. Yeah, there are things like, oh my God, that was great. But then there's 3 episodes you're just like,
this is
Can we get back to something interesting again? Can like somebody pop out and kill somebody? And that's what everybody watches the show for. The deaths. Nobody watches it because of the characters. Nobody watches it because of the storyline. They watch it for the deaths. Most people watch it for the deaths. That's all they do.
The first and second season, I understand it was slow, but the whole character development between Rick coming back and finding his wife left him for his best friend, and then the whole feud that went on there, and when it all finally, because everyone watches it for the big deaths, but it's the little stuff that happens in those episodes when you're saying it's too boring. Like when Rick finally finds out that Shane was sleeping around with his wife, and then it shoots him, and it's just like, ugh!
Okay, for final thoughts. Go ahead.
Is there any reason we need to hear I can't even remember her name anymore? Singing that was necessary for the storyline later on. Singing around a campfire, bringing everybody together. What did that have to do with the story as a whole? Everything in the Flash leads up to the finale, and in a spectacular way.
Each episode from the mid-season finale. Mid-season finale was a shocker. It was crazy. Huge spoiler for it. And then every single episode from it, from that episode on, set up the season finale and was so big. There were no boring starts. Every single episode felt like a mid-season finale, and it just kept me hooked. Every single time it got done, I'm like, what? I've never felt that way for Walking Dead, except for a couple of times.
And
Final
again,
points. Let me borrow this real quick.
I can't look at
I just want to. Okay, what is the greatest live-action TV show based on? Oh, greatest, not most accurate. Okay, after one season, I'm not ready to crown it the greatest. You can't do that. It's the Flash is so fresh still. Its balls hasn't even dropped. It's not. It's the first season.
It's a baby.
Yeah, but
it's got no hair in his ass.
Season of Walking Dead.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Guys, great arguments on both sides. I'm going to have to say that this is pretty clear, and I think The Walking Dead takes it.
What?
I think The Walking Dead takes it. Frederick, you did a great job explaining there. The fact that it has its own talk show, you can't really argue against that. You can't argue that, but how popular that is.
It's the greatest.
Okay, yeah.
But is it popular because of quality, or is it popular
because quality? Because you're talking about these slow episodes and everything. But the point is, a lot of those slow episodes have character development in it. And I have watched some Walking Dead, so I know what I'm talking about.
It's boring. When you look at The Flash,
it can't just be bam, 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 action, action, action.
And what he's talking about, and we're throwing accuracy out the window here, because it's not about what is the best thing that keeps faithful to the source material. It's about what's the greatest live-action TV show
dedicated to that show.
That's what I'm saying. And the character development, like I talked about before, actually is not important. The ratings are huge. That and Game of Thrones right now are the 2 most popular shows on TV, and that has something to do with it. It's also breaking records. It's been around for 6 seasons.
Should I mention that the ratings are declining this season?
I think that's what I'm saying. I think if The Flash was around, you guys had more to talk about. If The Flash was around for 2 or 3 seasons, then I think you guys made it
for sure.
bad.
Like if we have this pick of this argument up in like 2 or 3 years,
it's very
Flash
possible.
Will be awesome.
But I think you guys didn't have enough to go off of yet. I love The Flash.
It's too fresh.
I love The Flash.
I know you love The Flash.
But I'm going to say Frederick did a better job of explaining why Walking Dead is a better TV show right now.
Well,
Still
Everybody
more to
gets
come. It's
one every once in a
63.
while.
It's 63 right now. The McWinners fall behind the Team Techno Vikings. But it's okay, because it's time for our final topic discussion round. And ladies and gentlemen, it is our mystery round, which means it can be about anything I want. That's right. There have been some huge movies that have come out that turned out to be major disappointments. Major disappointments. What I want to know from you fellas is, what movie was the biggest letdown ever? We're going to go with them first, I believe. Go ahead, guys.
Well, let me answer that for you real quick, because the right answer is Spider-Man 3. Okay, let's start with some background information. You have Spider-Man 1, which was phenomenal. It was one of the first comic book movies. Everyone loved it. It had great character development, and it retold the Spider-Man story in a way that was still accurate but yet fresh. And I feel like it was a great start. And then you have Spider-Man 2. Holy crap, still ranked one of the best comic book movies of all time. Spider-Man 2, The Dark Knight, only Rotten Tomatoes comic book movies to score a 94. It was amazing, and people are still talking about it. And then comes along Spider-Man 3. It's everything. It's going like this. You're going up on the roller coaster, you're waiting for it, and then it shits the bed. So many villains in the movie. It was terrible. And emo Spider-Man is awful, just awful stuff. And it's like
5 seconds.
Oh God, it's just not even enough time to prove how terrible this movie is. And then because Spider-Man 3 came along, they had to reboot the series because it did so bad and people hated it so much that they had to make the Amazing Spider-Man.
You can finish that thought after. Go ahead.
Okay, we chose X-Men Origins Wolverine as the biggest letdown ever. Here we have an opportunity to reboot the series and tell it from the beginning of Wolverine's story. And what do they do from the very beginning? I don't know whose story they told, but that wasn't Wolverine's story.
Absolutely not.
Like, the entire movie just completely butchered every character. They killed off seriously big characters in the Marvel Universe. Oh, just put them in there and, like, have them die in a helicopter or something. I don't know. I can't even. I can't even put into words how bad this movie was. They had people. They had characters that were suddenly related that were entirely different ethnicities. They had characters that should have been like 40 years separated apart, and then people that should have been the same age that are a good 20 years apart. It's like nobody read the comics when they made this movie.
When you think about Wolverine's timeline and how he came from James Howlett, you know. They completely messed up it from the first scene. Scene on.
Response.
Okay. First of all, X-Men Origins Wolverine wasn't even the worst X-Men related movie. Last Stand. Clearly the worst because that completely destroyed that franchise to the point where they had to reboot it and come out with First Class. Wolverine, if Wolverine Origins was so bad, why was Hugh Jackman still Wolverine beyond that movie? It clearly couldn't have been that bad. Because Spider-Man 3 completely tore down the franchise. Tobey Maguire had Spider-Man to get recast. They had to start off fresh. And they had Spider-Man 4 and 5 planned out before Spider-Man 3 came out and was such a terrible flop. Anne Hathaway was supposed to play Black Cat. They were going to get all these actors. It was going places. And then it just completely tore down the franchise.
Tobey Maguire didn't star in another feature film until The Great Gatsby. Or have a prevalent role until The Great Gatsby. He was off.
Hugh Jackman's still Wolverine.
That's some strong points, guys. You got to come back here.
Why didn't they get rid of Wolverine? Because if they did, the entire franchise would be gone. That he was their tentpole. He was all they had. No. Okay, let's try again with another movie.
He's been in 15 movies.
First Class was a big success.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman wasn't in that.
He made a cameo. He made a cameo.
His cameo made or broke that.
Okay. But he's been in 15 movies as the same character. And this is a comic book character. He's been in 15 movies. So I'm just saying that that movie sucked so bad, but they took like, okay, you know what? We're going to take that loss. We're going to still have Hugh Jackman because he is the face of the X-Men. If we get rid of him,
we got to stay on track here. Why is X-Men
the reason why
the worst letdown?
I was going to say, that's the thing, is this was a letdown. Everybody went into this movie thinking, okay, they're going to get back on track. It's going to be all about Wolverine, which is basically was anyway. But it's going to reset everything, and we're going to have the Marvel Universe we deserve. Everybody went into it, walked out. I don't know what I just watched because it had nothing to do with Wolverine.
There is a very specific timeline for Wolverine and the events that shape Wolverine, and they touched on 0 points. They completely disregarded a character that is the reason why Wolverine is who he is. Her name is Rose. She was the woman who took care of sickly James Howlett, and she ran away with him to take care of him. I don't know, it was like maybe 10 years later or something like that. They're in a mining town. Logan is in love with her. She is betrothed to another guy. And then Dog, his brother in the movie, comes to kill him. They fight. Logan accidentally kills Rose. And this is the first onset of his feral nature. This is where he goes in the woods, loses his humanity.
This is in the comics.
In the comics.
You need to tell me why the movie...
But that...
You need to go beyond that. I'm about to give them the point. You need to go beyond why this movie is a letdown, not because of source material. You need to tell me why the movie is a letdown.
Okay, you completely annihilated like so many characters and totally ruined the characters.
Okay, beyond the comic aspect of it, if this was never even in a comic, the movie was awful.
Talk about that.
There was no continuity. Every scene was just kind of thrown together. They had characters that like flip-flopped every other scene.
Terrible CGI, absolutely.
Every other
horrible
scene is like a
CGI.
walking away from an explosion, which doesn't make any how a barn explodes from getting shot.
That is an action movie. Cool guys walk away.
We're not in the 80s,
Cool
so we
guys
need to go
don't
away
look when
from
they
that.
Walk away from explosions. Spider-Man 3 made them completely just tear it down, start over fresh. X-Men Origins Wolverine, Hugh Jackman was still Wolverine after it, so it couldn't have been that bad. Plus, Ryan Reynolds cast as Deadpool, which he wasn't it wasn't good in the role, but it got the ball rolling to start him as Deadpool now.
10 years to get that character. 10 years. It
doesn't-
was in development hell for 5. They had it set up, ready to go with the
Because of
script.
Spider-Man 3 flopping, they had to reboot the franchise and come out with Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 now, which have also crapped the bed, and now they have to reboot the series again. So because Spider-Man 3 did so bad, made them reboot once, it got the ball rolling for Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 to mess up so bad that they have to do it again. So we're going to have 3 people cast as Spider-Man now because of this movie.
They did a
We're
soft
gonna have
reboot.
to go. We'll have to go. Final thoughts, guys.
X-Men Days of Future Past did a soft reboot and reset. X-Men Last Stand, the Wolverine X-Men Origins, and the Wolverine. Those movies suck so bad, were so wildly unpopular that they did a soft reboot. They did what Spider-Man did, but they kept the characters. They did a little time traveling, and then they completely took those 3 movies out of continuity, and that's what the fans wanted. They did what the fans wanted, and they didn't have to reboot the characters. They kept it how they wanted it.
Okay, so they did
Yeah,
what the
final
fans
thoughts,
they did what the fans wanted, and it all worked out in the end. Spider-Man 3 tried to do what the fans wanted, and they had to reboot the franchise, and then they had to reboot the franchise again, and they're probably going to have to do it again and again and again. It still worked out in the long run for X-Men, because here they are.
When you have rumored that one of what I think many people's favorite Spider-Man villains in Venom comes into the movies, and it's as big of a letdown as that, as a kid growing up, you kind of hated, but you kind of liked Venom because he was that cool guy.
Yeah.
He was like
and
the
it was
anti-hero.
Yeah,
Quinn was-
and it was.
Quinn was an anti-hero.
I was an anti-hero.
Venom.
But
Venom was an anti-hero.
Venom was an anti-hero, and it was so poorly played by
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
That 70s show.
I could not unsee Eric Foreman. I saw it was poorly
Okay.
cast.
So not only did it
That was
ruin-
not a
versus
not only did it
20.
ruin
We
Spider,
have to.
it couldn't have. It didn't
I
ruin
love
20
this.
because Hugh
Good.
Jackman's still Wolverine. If
All
it was
the
that
other
bad, they would have
characters,
rebooted and
all the
started
other
over.
characters, they totally ruined.
They would've-
Gambit, they cast
The new Wolverine
Gambit.
movie, they're
All right.
talking about bringing Liv Schreiber back to play Sabretooth, so it couldn't
We
have been all
have
that
to wrap
bad.
it up, folks. We have to wrap it up.
You need like a bell. Ding, ding, ding,
I
ding.
really need a bell.
Go
Seriously.
to your corners.
All right.
Come
All right,
Nick, I
guys.
can't see.
Good. You could feel the passion on both sides of this argument. Like I love how into it you guys are at. I love that you guys picked both comic book movies. That's fantastic.
And by the way, I hated X-Men Origins Wolverine.
All right, I can't. I have to give it to them. I'm sorry. Like, I have to. Because they made too many points about how they completely destroyed the franchise, and those effects are still. Think about that. Those effects are still being felt now. They had to recast Spider-Man twice. They had to completely reboot the franchise, and now they're bringing them this. Like, it killed Sony.
They've had to
It
tear
killed
it down
Spider-Man and
twice now,
Sony.
yeah.
The point that Quinn made about Tobey Maguire not being in a movie until Great Gatsby, that's freaking embarrassing. Because I think Tobey Maguire is a decent
about
actor. He shouldn't
Brothers?
have had to do that. Huh?
What about Brothers? That was a good movie.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't the main star there,
Yeah, he
was
was.
he?
It was.
It was
Yeah,
Jake
but that was
Gyllenhaal's
like the-
movie, I
Jake
thought.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
and
but he was like
the main
That came out
stars.
like the year before. But anyway.
Either
that's,
way,
that's still a good
he
point
had
on
to
Quinn's
hide out in the
part.
shadows for a long time. Hugh Jackman's not hurting because of X-Men Origins Wolverine.
That's true. I mean, like that's the thing is that it was a Wolverine-centric story that wasn't really about the real Wolverine. Obviously, and we all know that.
It was,
But
it was terrible.
If you're
Right.
going to do an
Movie was-
origin
but we-
story and you
awful.
don't tell the origin, that is the huge letdown.
I agree with what you're saying, but the fact that Wolverine is still Hugh Jackman up to this point, and he's going to be the last. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, he's
But
But that's what a
killed it for me
contract
there,
does.
so-
It keeps you in place.
Yeah, but
They wanted him.
obviously they could change contracts anytime
He's
they
still
want.
the-
as
I'm sure
Sony.
Tobey
They-
Maguire had a big They signed Tobey Maguire
There's-
onto a lot of movies, I'm sure.
There's
for
a reason they
Spider-Man.
call X-Men 1 through 3
We
Wolverine 1
gotta
through 3.
move on there, guys. But that was a really good argument. I can't get past the point that it completely destroyed the franchise and how everybody. I don't really like Spider-Man 2 that much, but Spider-Man 3 really brought that down from a lot of people like Spider-Man 2. So. I mean, I think there's just it's too heavy on this side. I needed more than just that it wasn't faithful to the comic books. And even Quinn brought up about Venom You know what I'm talking about? Venom was not faithful to the comic books either, so even he had a little bit on that side.
So in a backdoor way, I kind of
So-
even destroyed that 70s show. Because you can't even watch it anymore without seeing that.
That's true. I'm sorry, guys. I wish this was closer right now, but it is 9-3 for the Techno Vikings.
I lost
here.
last time, and it left a bitter taste in my mouth.
Okay, well, I mean,
That's
fear
not
not,
good.
guys, because we got a big change here in
I just
the ending here. So,
taste.
now we move on to our lightning round. Give me the bacow, bacow. There it is. Yeah, I can feel it.
Did
But
one
in
hit
Real
me?
Debate's team battle,
Eat lightning and crap thunder.
the rules are quite different. The movie trivia questions are still within this round and worth 1 point each. However, instead of the usual 15, there will only be 8 of them for each team. The remaining 7 points will be up for grabs in spontaneous mini debates, where I will ask a question that neither team is prepared for, and they will only have 15 seconds to tell me on their choice. Sell me on their choice. The catch is only one member of each team can answer the trivia questions, and the other must take part in the mini debates. No helping each other out here. You're on your own, and you choose to mini debate or answer the trivia. We're going to start with the trivia first.
Definitely trivia.
All right, go ahead.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'll do the trivia.
All right. Please remember that if you don't know an answer in the trivia here, you can pass at any time. But note, Quinn, you're doing trivia?
Yeah.
You cannot come back around to a question you passed on. So you can pass, but you can't come back around it.
Normal.
Okay.
Okay, you have to at least give me a
Got
guess.
That's how men shake hands.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what's
There's no
going on right
hugging.
now, guys?
Oh,
My
here.
prediction's
hugging.
coming true.
No, the game's not over yet there, sweetheart.
Okay,
game has
we're gonna go. Let's
so
go
now the
Team
Mecca's-
Frederick first for
Cubs
the
lost.
lightning round.
Oh,
Thank God. All right, here we go.
Yeah, the Cubs.
Sorry.
fine.
All right, you ready? There's no timing on this. This is Team Frederick. Are you ready?
Team Frederick.
Team Frederick, which is
He's-
Team Techno Vikings.
There we go.
You ready?
I'm sorry. It's
Well, he was here first. I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's fine.
All right, you ready? And I will get the points ready here. Here we go. What Hogwarts sorting house is Harry Potter a part of in the movies?
Gryffindor.
Correct. Who played Rocky's wife, Adrian, in the Rocky movies?
Pass.
What was the title of the 2009 disaster film starring John Cusack about the end of the world?
2012.
Correct. What 2001 film featured the big screen debut of The Rock in his first big role?
Scorpion King.
Correct. The incorrect. The Mummy Returns. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock starred together in this 1994 thriller. Name the movie.
Speed.
Correct. Name the actor. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna get this out.
Mel Gibson.
Correct.
I like the deer in the headlights picture.
That's why I got it. Okay. Next year,
Separated at birth, me and Mel.
maybe. Name the character.
Jack Sparrow.
Captain
Jack
Jack Sparrow
Sparrow.
will accept that.
Okay.
Captain.
Name the movie.
The Matrix.
Correct. And you guys got a lot there. Wow.
Because they're easy.
Look, folks,
All right, sorry.
this is going to be even.
Can I know?
So,
Can I ask
you-
who's his wife? Or is that coming back?
Talia Shire is,
Okay,
is
see,
the name of the
never would've
actress
guessed that.
there. Yes.
Not once.
You guys got to have some big catch up here.
Can they even score enough points in this?
Yes, they can
Yeah.
still. They can still because we still have the mini debates where the points are up for grabs. So you guys can still come back here. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put this over here. Okay, Team McWinners, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
And Paul, you're doing this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Who played Captain Hook in the 1991 film Hook?
Dustin Hoffman.
Correct. What is the third film to feature Indiana Jones called?
The Lost Ark?
The Last Crusades.
Last Crusade.
What year did the Adam West the Adam West starring Batman the movie hit theaters?
69.
66. Who voiced Ralph in 2012's Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, come on.
John C. Reilly?
Correct.
Well done.
As of today, how many films has Robert Downey Jr. appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
5.
6. Okay, here comes the visual
Is the
aids.
Hulk count because he was
See,
in the
that
end?
counts. Appeared. That's
Oh.
an appearance.
Wow.
Sorry. And we're going to the visual aids. Are you ready for the visual aids?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Losing my spot here. Okay. Name the movie.
Hunger Games.
Correct. Name the character.
Biff.
Correct.
Old Biff.
Well, I'll accept it. Name the actor.
Tim Allen.
Correct. Okay. So you didn't do too bad there. We're going to put that aside.
Well,
With a lot of
I'll look to
papers
you
here.
now.
Currently, you have 8 points.
All right, let's do this.
7 points are up. You need all of them, and then you could win, I believe. Here, let me double check these
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
15,
So we can tie.
55,
So
6,
you
7,
could die at best.
8, 9,
Well, we could fight to the death.
I got dinner.
Yeah,
at
they have
home.
15. You guys have 8. So 15 to 8. So you guys need all these. You ready?
So, what happens now? Like, is there
Okay,
7
so this
categories
is
and
the
we have
deal.
15 seconds each?
Yeah, you're gonna. So I'll example. Like just example. Like worst Johnny Depp movie. You guys think about it for a second. Name the thing. Then you each have 15 seconds. Okay. But remember, you cannot like take down the other movie. You have to just tell me why yours is the best, because the other person will have a chance to respond. Okay. You ready? And the first round is best character from Lord of the Rings movies. Go, you shout them out. Whatever.
Oh,
Gandalf.
go ahead. Do you want to give your 15 seconds? Or?
Yeah, but we can
Aragorn.
pick- Okay. All right, Gandalf, go ahead. 15
Gandalf
seconds.
is the mainstay of the movie. He is in every single Lord of the Rings movie and the Hobbit movies. He is awesome. They kill him off, they bring him back in some pimpin' right white robes. He is who everybody goes to for guidance, for comfort, for wisdom. He keeps them alive.
Go ahead.
Aragorn is the reason that the whole thing is Aragorn taking back the throne and claiming his birthright, and because of that, they were able to unite all the armies and win the battle against Sauron. He's really the reason why they were able to take him down.
Okay, that's wrapped up there. I think that one's pretty clear. I'm going to give it to Porter there. Had a little bit more on why Gandalf is a better character, I think. Okay, moving on here. Are you ready, Frederick?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Now you're shouting these out, and then we'll go to whoever said it
all right,
first.
yeah, I was.
Yeah, it's okay. Ready? Best James Bond actor.
Daniel Craig.
Sean Connery.
Okay, we'll go with Frederick first. Go ahead.
He was the first big Bond. I mean, everything that everyone else has done after this is just a comparison to Sean Connery. He was the first big Bond. He did it first. He did it best.
Okay.
Okay, he took everything that was Sean Connery and expanded on that. He is a badass. He is amazing. He has got that suave, debonair thing, but he still can kick your ass so ridiculously hard. And I think he brings a certain fierceness that Bond needs to have, but also
Okay,
maintain
we'll wrap
his
it up there.
suaveness.
He gave more points. I'm gonna have to give it to.
I mean, I wish we
Team
had a Connery,
McWinners.
and I wouldn't exactly call Daniel Craig suave.
See, we
in
can't
the
have the
same
Connery
sentence as
argument.
I would call
That's
Sean
what
Connery
Connery is.
suave.
So it's 10 to 15, folks, right now. They're on the comeback trail. Okay, you ready for this one? Best John Williams musical score. John Williams. John Williams.
He doesn't think of an answer either.
You don't know who John Williams is?
I know who he is. I can't remember any movies he's done.
Can we just call this a draw then?
No. Think of something.
I don't know what movies.
Everything.
Is he the guy that did Toy Story?
Think of a big movie, man.
Think of a
Probably
big
did the
movie
music
that
for
he's
it.
done.
Come on.
All I can think of is Hans Zimmer.
Nope.
Yeah, that's all.
Guys, come on. You're seriously letting me down.
Can I
right now.
Google
Yeah, can I get a
Name a
phone
movie
a friend?
until you get something.
Zoolander?
No.
Winnie
Star
the Pooh.
Wars?
Star Wars is one of them.
Star
Can you
Wars.
come up with
Really?
something? Seriously, think of a big movie.
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
I was
ahead,
Okay,
Star Wars.
the
Yeah.
Imperial March. Everybody knows the Imperial March. That is how you know Darth Vader. If you listen to that, you know Darth Vader's coming and ready to kick some Force butt. Like, that is why that movie is so good, because it had the Imperial March, and it had the Rebels. It was very different types
Okay.
of music.
I got shit on in this category because I didn't know who he was, and he shouted out Star Wars, which is the correct answer.
You
Because
can still come on. Give me
Hey,
some
yeah.
Indiana Jones.
the Star Wars theme it's the Star Wars theme. Like everyone knows Darth Vader's intro. It's Star Wars. There's no arguing that.
You could have argued it.
It was just because he guessed Star Wars. I
McWinners.
didn't even know
That's
who the guy
11 to
was.
15. Here we go. All right, guys. Now keep in mind this is the fourth of 7 here, and remember that he has to be in this film as an actor because this man is also a director. Best Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh, what the hell is it? Gran Torino.
Got something?
$1 Million Baby.
Okay. Go ahead. Gran Torino.
It was like everything that Clint Eastwood is all in one movie. He directed it and he acted in it, wrote it himself. It was he was a badass in it. He played the father figure to that kid in it. And his death scene at the end, my God, everyone was weeping. It was intense.
In high school, I had to do a report on $1 Million Baby and the effects of euthanasia, and I think that movie really showed the love of a person, what you would do in the event of their their paralyzation and the fact that they can't think for themselves, and how hard of a decision
That's
it would be to
15
kill them.
Oh boy, that is close. All right. That is really tight. Frederick, great point. He, starting and acting in it, everything.
Wrote it, directed. It was his baby.
He actually did that $1 Million Baby too. You did not mention that. I think I got to give it to Frederick here. And thank you for game. Frederick and Quinn, Team German Vikings, Techno, whatever. You guys win. That's 16.
Strong work.
Oh boy, that was some intense
Can we
stuff,
finish up?
guys.
I just came on. And I want to keep debating. Can we just?
I know. Well, I'll have to have a little bit of announcement here because let's get to the last page of my notes here so we can figure out.
Let me tell you what.
Was there a surprise? There was a surprise.
I haven't.
That was the surprise.
Oh.
Because usually there's just trivia questions and we mix it up for you guys today.
I haven't baited this much since I was 13 and learned how to lock a door. Let me tell you that.
Wow.
I keep pointing to the camera thinking that it's going to be like, banging.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show, guys. Great job at both teams. That was a lot of fun, was it not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the.
Except for the crushing defeat. That
I
was
really
great.
enjoyed taking a dump on him.
But the big letdown, I think that was a really good back and forth. I could feel the
was.
passion with you guys there.
I enjoyed it.
Great
Yeah, I was
job.
definitely about to retract David.
I
and
was-
agree with
That's what I'm talking
But,
about. That's what I like
I
about this.
felt
The
as,
second you said Spider-Man 3, I was like,
I felt as fiery and passionate about these topics as fiery as Porter's crotches.
Wow, he came at you pretty hard. Well, I'm going to wrap this
I
up
know
here,
'cause I
guys.
love
Be on the lookout for the final, unfortunately, edition of Real Debates and episodes of Real Reviews in the coming weeks. Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, if it's not debated here, it just isn't real. I'm Walter Branaziak, and until next time, keep your great debate alive.